All right. Are we good? I think we're good now, right? We're good? Okay. Yeah, so I think we're finally back to normal. First time ever, YouTube was offline for almost practically, 45 minutes to an hour. Crazy. I didn't know what to do with ourselves. I started thinking, man, if YouTube goes offline, what will I do with my life? I mean, I might as well just end it. There's no purpose to living anymore. Just kidding. No, it's all good. We still got the Seahawks playing. And yeah, it was a rough game on Sunday. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this game, of course, coming up against the Rams, because it's a crucial game coming up here. And holy cow, man. A lot of stuff to go on, but we're a little short-handed today, but that's okay. We're still gonna have some quality stuff. We're gonna have a smaller version of the roundtable. It'll still be round, but it'll be more like a triangle because there'll just be the three of us. But that's okay. It's still gonna be good. So before we jump in here, I just want to remind everybody, please, if you don't mind, hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm on a quest to get to 50,000 subs. I'm slowly climbing up the ladder, about just shy of 43. So we'd love to have that happen, and you guys can help me get there. So here we go. Looking spiffy as usual. There are the guys. It's just the three of us today. But that's all right. We're going to have quality stuff here going on. So at the top, of course, we got Steezy A. Smith, Calvin Domingo. Steezy, it's good to see you. Looking good, my friend.
It's always a pleasure being on. Thank you.
Of course, and then DJ Squabo, Noah, of course, right there, starting the good-looking trend, looking sharp as usual. How you doing, man? You out of breath? I told everybody in the waiting room or in the chat. I said Noah's literally running to his house right now to get back in here for the studio. So, how you doing?
Yeah, no, I was just wheezing right before we joined the call and everything. But honestly, I've just been trying to figure out how to get my hair to style back like that, man. That's so smooth how you got it.
Well, me?
Talking about I began the style on this show. I think we all know who began that.
I don't know, man. This is just, my hair is, it's pretty much always been like this all my life. So I think it's just trained that way. It's just like a trained, creature that just knows what to do. Although sometimes I do have those bad hair days and all that stuff, but it's behaving itself today, man. But thank you. I appreciate it. So that's it. We will be joined by the rest of the crew next week. Martin could not make it this time, and Brian Abker is busy with work, real life stuff, and he's also getting ready to move into his lavish new place on the water in Kirkland off Lake Washington. So I'm sure by the next time we do the show, we'll be seeing him from his new place. I can't wait to see that. So let's get into this. I know we're starting late, so an hour behind when we wanted to do this, but we will be doing a Kahoot at the end, a trivia courtesy of Cameron Hughes, who sent me a very nice Kahoot. Several of you guys did, and which I appreciate that because I look forward to being able to do that because it saves me more work, especially when you guys put a good one together. And Cameron Hughes did a very good one, so I can't wait to see how you guys do with that. But let's get right into it. I guess a great way to start this is Squabo did a fantastic article. I'm actually in the process of posting it onto the Fan to Fan Network. It's all about the everything that's wrong with the Seahawks from a Seahawks fan perspective. So you can go check out that video. You'll be able to read his article shortly. But we're going to talk about it right here. Let's just go right into it. Let's jump. Let's deal with the elephant in the room and talk about this game that went so not the way we wanted it to. No, it's so Squabo, since I brought you up. Give me the satellite view of what happened on Sunday. What went so terribly wrong for the Seattle Seahawks?
Well, in Pullman, it snowed over the weekend, and that might have led to the snowball effect we saw on the field. We started off horribly with a bad opening kickoff, and then that just kind of set the tone for the entire day. We never stopped the one thing they were trying to do, and that ended up being our demise. We did so many things wrong, and you can see that in the video I just posted yesterday, where I listed every single thing wrong with the Seattle Seahawks to this point in the season. I'm not going to get into that right now, but big picture, it's not anything that we should be terrified of if we're Seattle. We got some things to fix, that's for sure. We're still 6-2. We're tied for the lead in the conference, and we have some very important games coming up where we can completely flip the script of the season if we can correct these things. We have some major adjustments that we need to make. As long as we make them, we're still going to be okay. Remember, it's our first game now that Jamal Adams is back, and he was atrocious in coverage. Carlos Dunlap just played the first game in Seattle, and he already had his impact felt. So moving forward, those two things are going to be very impactful for Seattle. That was an ugly game. As long as we learn from it, quick shout out to Ken Norton who messaged me a really good point. Seattle plays really good after a loss. Hopefully we show that this week, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So as long as we respond in a good fashion, nothing's lost for Seattle. That was just a little slap in the butt reminding us that we need to play better.
All right, so let's get Steezy A. Smith's reaction, his thoughts on it. Steezy, what's your take on the game?
I was definitely a little pissed off going into the game. Obviously, Russell Wilson, he knows about the deficiencies of our defense, and he knows that it's still going to take time for these guys to get acclimated to the game plan and everything. And going into the game, he knew that our offensive line has been struggling all year. Going into the game, he knew that we weren't going to have all of our stable of running backs. But the fact that he was pressing, I thought he was pressing way too much. I think it was Noah right after the game. Maybe I told someone else. I'm not sure, but what I was saying was that Russell Wilson, he gets so much credit, and he gets all the credit when we win games. And now that we lost this one, I mean, I get it. The defense allowed over 400 yards of offense. Josh Allen only misfired on 7 attempts out of like 38 or 37. And so obviously the defense deserves a whole lot of blame. But when you turn the football over 4 times, including 2 blatant interceptions that were just completely uncalled for. I mean, those interceptions were terrible interceptions. And I've said this before, Russell Wilson doesn't throw that many interceptions, but when he does, they're really bad interceptions. And so I'm going to put most of the blame on Russell Wilson just because he had 4 turnovers. I mean, some of those fumbles weren't his fault, but at the same time, he knows that our offensive line has been struggling. He knows that our offensive line has been struggling for years, and he's usually done a good job of taking care of the football. And so I think that this game, he kind of had a few mental lapses, and I think he deserves a lion's share of the blame for this loss simply because he failed to take care of the football. I mean, they didn't turn the ball over at all, and so we can't look to our defense to produce takeaways every single game. And with Russell Wilson, I understand when you're going to allow him to cook, he's going to make mistakes. He's gonna turn the football over. You can't expect him to win every single shootout, but at the end of the day, some of those turnovers were just really, really bad. I mean, I think that overshadowed just how good our pass rush looked. I think that overshadowed another magnificent performance by DK Metcalf. But yeah, all in all, I'm with you, Noah. I mean, I'm not worried. I'm not too worried in the long run. I think that we're going to bounce back. We don't usually lose 2 in a row, and so I'm going to knock on wood, but I'm not worried too much about the Los Angeles Rams. And so all we can really do is look forward and hope that we learn from this loss and we emerge a whole lot better because of it. Man, I'm a little surprised at how much blame you're throwing on Russell Wilson. I agree that he has, when he's thrown those interceptions, they've been bad interceptions. And this game oddly looked a lot like our other loss. Granted, again, we only have 2 losses, but in the 2 losses we have, it's very clear what happened, what went wrong for Seattle. And anytime every time we've lost, it's because we've turned the ball over too many times. And Russ has been at the center of that. And his interceptions were pretty bad, and there usually were situations where he's pressing too much. He was trying too hard to make it happen. So the interceptions, I agree with you. They were bad. One of them was that one it was 3rd and 25 or something like that. Threw it to, forced it to DK, and he didn't see the guy coming. That was a terrible interception, and they were both bad. But I don't know, the fumbles, I can't blame him so much for those. The first one, he was trying to elude the pocket, and normally he would scramble and usually get free. And we see him, he's done that time after time. But I remember the lineman had just shed off his block, and again, when Russell starts to move in the pocket, a lot of times the linemen don't see where he's at. So sometimes that results in holding because they think he's going to go that way, and all of a sudden he's like, "Whoa, keep him back here," and they hold. Or in this case, he went off the block, Russell stepped up, didn't realize, I think at that point where the guy was going, the guy just shed off the block, and then he hit him and knocked the ball out of his hands. The last one, he never saw it coming. He came off his right side and he was, looking this way. Pow! He got slammed on that one. It's hard to blame Russell for that because he was on it before he could even do anything. Granted, why he didn't see him, that's a whole other thing. But, he was in there.
in such a quick moment. So, but then if you still, despite all that, you look at the numbers, and he still had, 28 of 41, 390 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So we ended up putting up 34 points. So normally 34 points usually gets it done, right? Normally if you would even look at the other score and said, hey, Seattle is going to get, if you went back in time or went into the future and went back in time and told yourself, hey guys, guess what? If I told you Seattle's going to score 34 points in this game, do you think we're going to win? We'd all say, yeah. In fact, we're going to look at our score predictions from last week, and you're going to see a very common thing of that number that we reached is very close to what a lot of us picked, and maybe higher than some of the numbers we picked. The problem is 44. It's hard to win when you have 44, and I'm with you, man. But I hate to say it because everybody's talking about the thing. But go ahead, man. Defend it
real quick. I apologize, but real quick, those 4 turnovers, they equaled 16 points for the Buffalo Bills, and so. I mean, once again, you do 44 minus 16. I feel like, things would have turned out a whole lot differently. Even if you take away maybe that last fumble, because that definitely was on him. Let's say he finished with 3 turnovers. I mean, they came up with 3 field goals and a touchdown off of those 4 turnovers. And so let's say you take away the touchdown. It would have been 41-34. It's just like, I don't know, those interceptions that he threw, they were just, I don't know, they were ugly. Especially the one in the fourth quarter. Like we were supposed to come back, and we had 6 minutes to go, and then he throws a terrible pick, which was essentially a pick 6. And I just feel like that killed all of our momentum, and that killed any shot that we had at really getting back into the football game.
Yeah, no, it's hard. It's hard to see Russell struggle, especially when he's done so many great things in this year. But it's like when he's great, and when he's terrible, he's really terrible. Although he still made some great plays in between all that. But what's tough though is it is the cascading effect, because when we're behind like that and we're having to crawl back multiple scores, that's also a product of the fact that we were in a hole early. So Russell Wilson, I think he often feels I got to press this thing, because who else is going to do it? We don't have a running game to go to. I'm going to have to put the team on my shoulders and do it. And most of the time, he's successful at it. It's just when it goes bad and things go bad, it gets ugly really fast on there. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough to point at the one thing, because you wonder if, let's say, we put a little bit of resistance in the beginning and we didn't get in the whole 17 points. Let's say it was more of a 7, kind of like my Madden simulation game I did earlier. It was like a back and forth 7, 14, 4. It was a back and forth kind of game that we expect to have. I don't think he necessarily makes those bad throws. Given I don't think he forces it as bad. It's hard to say, but the bottom line is what you can't definitely deny is the defense. They tried everything, right? Let's talk about the defense now for a second, right? We tried everything. And when we talked about this last time, I said we should blitz the heck out of these suckers, right? And they did, to a fault, to a point where we got burned badly in our attempt to do so. So I felt like, man, okay, well, I was the one suggesting we should do that, and they did it, and it came out to bite us too. And but I felt like if we were going to try to get pressure, we needed to do that. But for some reason, we didn't start getting those sacks until later in the game. Didn't we feel like that first half we didn't even touch the guy? So I don't know. Just that first half was just so hard to watch, because it looked like Josh Allen could do whatever he wanted. He did it all day. Nobody could cover anything. There was not 10 yards of a guy, it seemed like, half the time. It was just frustrating to watch that first half. And it got better at points because we did end up with 7 sacks. But I don't know. I just don't. How do we fix this thing? But so let's get your guys' take on the defense. Squabble, let's go with you, man. You haven't talked about this in a while, so say your take. You've got so many on your list on that video. You got to address it. Yeah.
If I may, before we even get to the defense, I also disagree with Steezy a little bit about the blame placement on Russell Wilson. Could I agree?
Yeah. Go ahead. We don't have to bury this hatchet yet. Yeah, you haven't really spoken out about it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I definitely agree. Looking back on it, at the end of the day, Russell Wilson is the one that coughed up the football 4 times, and that's indefensible. At the end of the day, he's the last line of defense. But the problem, when you look at anything controversial in sports or in real life, say one of our jobs, if one of us went on Twitter and said something extremely controversial, we would sit back and wonder to ourselves, why did he do that? So we can't just take the blatant action and not wonder what happened right before it. what are the reason that Russell Wilson is making some of these mistakes? The way that we fix this problem is by improving that supporting cast. We look back to the Arizona game when he made that horrible turnover in overtime that essentially ended the game for us. The play before it, DJ Dallas misses an easy block. Russell Wilson gets blown up before he has a chance to do anything, kind of like what just happened in Buffalo. And after he gets blown up, they show blitz again. They drop out of the blitz, but Russell Wilson was expecting to have negative 0.1 seconds in the pocket. So he releases it too soon. Well, yes, he's the one that made the mistake. It is because of what was set up previously by Seahawks failures. In that game, first of all, this is exactly why I said my key for Seattle, get the lead in the game, go up 7-0. That's exactly why when we went on Dan Mitchell's show, I said if I was Buffalo, I would want to get the lead against Seattle. It's because of that snowball effect. Russell Wilson was trying to do too much because of the deficiencies surrounding him. Yes, we're going to talk about the defense, but offensively, we're missing open assignments, open blocks, and he's getting blown up with zero time in the pocket. What is that going to do to his mentality? That's when he starts seeing ghosts. We all see what Sam Darnold's done in New York with Adam Gase, and everyone blames Gase for that. We still think Darnold could be a legit quarterback. It's because of the situation around him. That's what's going on in Seattle right now with Russell Wilson. Every single one of those turnovers, except for the blindside sack where he had no time in the pocket, was because he was doing too much in a situation where had we had the lead, had we been playing in full control of that ball game, he's not going to make that mistake. I'll literally go to every single one. The 3rd and 22, when he threw it to DK Metcalf, it was because it was a 3rd and 22. After he got sacked, what was it, twice on that drive? He gets sacked twice, and now he has to force a Trey Wright jumps the route when he's manned up on someone else. And that's just one of those things where he knew Russell Wilson was going to be desperate, and he made a good play. Russell Wilson's the last person to mess up, but it's because of those previous 2 plays where we got knocked back. You look at the interception in the end zone. We ran the wrong play on 4th down and 1 when we rolled out to the boundary side rather than the field. We had more space to the left. If we roll out to the left, it's not as congested. We rolled out to the wrong side, and he ran out of time and forced it. And then finally, the fumble where he got hit from behind. Normally, he throws that ball away by then. He held on to it because we were trailing and because we didn't have help. So Russell Wilson, yes, at the end of the day, he's the one turning the ball over, but I can't put all the blame on him.
So everybody's on this fire Ken Norton campaign. We've been talking about it for weeks, right? We talked about it last week, and unfortunately, we still are talking about it because nothing is getting better. And we all discussed different options of how should they attack the Bills. And I think they tried a little bit of everything. They tried blitzing aggressively. They've tried playing that sort of, against the Cardinals. We played that sort of rush, only 3 or 4 guys and drop a whole bunch of guys in zone coverage. The problem is, none of them are working. And what's weird about it is, for every argument you could say, well, this is why it's not working for Seattle. I was just about to get into my argument saying, well, half part of the problem too, again, as shown, if you watch my Seahawks Bills video where I beat the Bills in the simulation, I had Chris Carson. I was running the ball with Chris Carson, scoring touchdowns with Chris Carson, taking the pressure off me as the virtual quarterback as Russell Wilson, knowing I can hand the ball off to Chris Carson. Now, in the same breath, I'll say, well, who needs a balanced offense when Josh Allen and company simply went the entire first half, said, screw running the ball, screw balanced attack. I'm just going to keep throwing and throwing and throwing until you can stop me. And they couldn't stop them until they were 17 points ahead. You could blitz me, and you're not going to get there. You can try to drop everybody out. I'm still going to find these guys wide open. So what is going on? What is wrong here? Is it that they've tried everything and the personnel just isn't good enough? Is that what it comes down to? Because that's the case. Nobody believes it. Because every poll I put out on Twitter and on YouTube, on everything, it's unanimously like 80% people say, fire Ken Norton. It's all his fault, And I even saw somebody put up a petition, one of those petitions to get Norton fired, as if that's going to do any good. But that's how strongly people feel like he's the one to blame. And I think we're just all looking for someone to blame because we can't believe how historically bad this defense is, and we can't figure out how to fix it. So the only way you go is you go, well, the whole thing sucks. It's got to be him. Because I can't think of anything else. Because you don't want to blame Bobby Wagner. You don't want to blame KJ Wright. You don't want to blame all these individual guys. But I don't know. What is it, man? If you could wave a wand and fix the one thing, what is the one thing that's really wrong? Would a different guy be in there fix this thing? Or is it really that is the injuries that have just riddled? Everyone's kind of forgotten that we've lost so many guys who would have been there. And at one point we talked about this being a top, possibly one of the top secondaries when we were talking about Shaquille Griffin and Quentin Dunbar and Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams and Marquise Blair. That combo of five already by itself looks on paper like an impenetrable group that should be better. And yet here they were, all but Marquise Blair in the game. Granted, Quentin Dunbar did not look like Quentin Dunbar that we wanted to have, but still holes everywhere. And of course, Shaquille Griffin not in the game. Bring some sanity to this. Steezy, I beg of you, man. Bring some feeling that we're not just falling down this abyss with no parachute and no way to stop it, because that's what I feel like everybody feels like, that there is no solution. Brian Apker, if he were here, he'd say, oh man, I've been saying it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Well, it's week 10 and we're not fine. We're in bad shape. Steezy, help me out here, man.
Man, well, unfortunately, I can't just say one thing and hope that one thing is going to fix this defense, because truth be told, it's not. I mean,
all right, give me multiple things. Give me several things. It doesn't have to be one, but you got a genie. You have 3 wishes. Right. What would you ask the genie to do realistically? You can't say like bring the LOB back. Can't be like that. If a genie came along and said, "I'll give you 3, maybe even more wishes," but you have to be very specific. And if you specifically say things, I will, as the genie, fix these things and we'll make that defense better. How do you do it?
First, I want to have a complete and healthy defense. I want all of our reinforcements that we've signed, I want them to all be on the field for at least a couple of games and see how good or how bad they perform then. Okay, but the genie's going to say, okay, just like you can't wish for more wishes, I can't wish to have everybody who's broken be healthy. So sorry, you don't get that one. Okay. I'm trying to be a genie with a realistic something you can actually do, like within your control, because we can't control the injuries and we can't control who's not there. So with what we have to work with, and that includes bringing somebody in or firing somebody and replacing them, what can this genie, I guess it's not really a genie, it's probably GM, not genie, GM. What can we do realistically to solve this, man, that is realistic between now and the Super Bowl? Maybe Ken Norton Jr. and the rest of the defensive guys on the staff can have a talk with Pete Carroll and maybe try to change things up as far as scheme, as far as play calling and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, Ken Norton Jr. is the defensive coordinator, I think, in name only. This is still Pete Carroll's defense. He's the one who runs this defense. He's the one who manufactures, I feel like, a majority of the game plan when it comes to the defensive side of things. And so I think that maybe if I had one wish, or if I had multiple wishes, one of my first wishes would be to get Pete Carroll right in the head and to hopefully get him to kind of change some things up and hopefully kind of get away from some of the things that used to work that now isn't working. Because as you mentioned earlier, I mean, we have the personnel. We have elite players at linebacker. We have elite players at safety. And now we finally have a pass rusher that can defeat guys one-on-one in Carlos Dunlap. And so I think it comes down to that. And it comes down to scheme. It comes down to how Pete Carroll is laying out the game plan. Because at the end of the day, this is his defense, not Ken Norton Jr.'s.
All right, hold on there. Hold that thought. Let's bounce this back so we can get some other takes on it. I'm going to toss this to Squabo, but first I want to preface it by saying Pete Carroll, in so many words, said when asked about the problems with the defense, he actually put kind of the blame deflected onto the players, saying the scheme was fine, but we had players not in position or not executing the way we did in practice. So if you're going to listen to the head coach, Pete Carroll was basically kind of throwing the players under the bus, saying these guys aren't executing, in so many words. Squabo, when I have you can react to that. You could also play the genie game. Thoughts?
I got you. And my genie going to have an easy day today because I got one thing for you. But before I even get into that, there is hope, even though there is one thing that we are doing drastically wrong. The hope is this is the craziest year we have ever seen. at least in my lifetime. I don't know about your guys's. I know a lot of kids are watching, so in all of our lifetimes, this is the craziest year we've ever been a part of, which means that crazy, unique things are happening, like training camp isn't going to be normal. There's not going to be as much off-season time for new players and new systems to get acquainted, like Jamal Adams, Quentin Dunbar, Carlos Dunlap, and a lot of the other guys that we just signed, Benson Mayowa, Bruce Irvin, all these guys that we're bringing in, even if they've been here before. It's a crazy offseason where we haven't had the opportunity to get in the work together and to build that unity as a team that you so need. The good news about that is if this season continues, that is our bright spot. That is our chance that our communication and our understanding of the defense, if it is what Pete Carroll is saying, the more that we play it together, the fewer errors we should hypothetically have in that aspect. So that's one thing that is a bright spot for Seattle. But if I'm talking to a genie and I'm telling my genie one wish that's going to fix this defense, and this is one thing that, you know, we still have hope for as well, if we can start to figure this out, we need to disguise our defense all the time. We need to start doing things that the offense isn't expecting. Prior to the snap, they're pointing to places on our defense that are going to be wide open. They're snapping it and hitting them right like that. And then they're juking out our defenders because we're in bad position since before the snap. We saw a very important play during this game. It was 3rd and 14. Trey Flowers was on the right side of our defense. Stephon Diggs was in front of him right before the snap. Trey Flowers was lined up as if he was going to be in press man coverage, which thank goodness we're finally doing, but he lines up as if we're in press man coverage. And as Josh Allen is going through his cadence, Trey Flowers drops back into zone. They snap the ball. Josh Allen never sees it. He throws it to Diggs, expecting it to be man coverage. And because Trey Flowers was in zone, he's able to break on the football and knock down the play that ended their drive. So we disguised on that play, and it worked out perfectly. We need to do that more often. They're seeing what our defense is doing before the snap, and that's what's making their read so easily. It's hard for us to get a stop if we're not taking away their first read, and that's the problem right now. We need to disguise our defense.
And I'm totally with you on that. And I was saying to that point last week when I was saying we should blitz and attack, but I said we should do it the same way that Arizona had did it and kind of what the Bills did. I think a little bit less creatively. I don't know, the Bills just sent everybody and somebody got home. But with the Cardinals, they did so many just good disguises. And it seems like that would be something that shouldn't be that hard to do, right? Because you know where you want to start, but you also have a plan of where you're going to finish. And so I agree with you. I just feel like when we have a guy blitzing, I see this on Madden too. I call up the blitz play. Bobby Wagner's all lined up in the gap, and then you got this guy all over here, and clearly they're coming. And Josh Allen just kind of goes 54, 54, 33, 33. You know, and it's like they can figure this out. How they figure this out? Oh my gosh! Well, it's because I'm standing here, sucker. So you know, it's just projected in advance. So like you're saying, you just want it to be one thing, and then it becomes the chameleon, you know, you shift, shifter. You start like this, and all of a sudden, whoa, you become something else. And it's like, whoa, where'd the guy over here just go? You know, and then it's chaos, and hopefully somebody leaks through. That's what happened to us. We need that to happen to them. And that was the thing, again, that I guess that's the question I asked the other way around, is so when we did blitz, and we did it a lot, it seemed like they always were ready for it, or they always had the perfect counter move. Now, again, did they just get lucky? Because like when they threw that screen pass that burned us, what was that play? It was a 3rd down and long or something, and we blitzed 8, got super aggressive, and they threw the screen pass. The perfect, by the way, counter to that type of aggressive attack. But how come it seems like when Seattle blitzes, it's the worst case scenario? We don't usually get home, and when they blitz, Russell goes down in a clump of broken flesh. Steezy, let me go back to you, man, and just see if you have an answer for that as to why both teams seem to be trying to do the same thing, yet we get so quite different results. Is it our protection just is that much worse, or are we just not doing it as well as the other team is doing it?
I'm going to say both. You look at Jordan Simmons. I think he struggled immensely at the left guard position. He's done an admirable job of filling in for Mikey Potty in the last couple of games, but in this game alone, he allowed 4 pressures. The rest of the offensive line had 1. And altogether, the team allowed 5 sacks. And so you could say that Jordan Simmons was responsible for a majority of that. And I think that they saw that he was struggling. He was having a terrible game, and they kept sending guys his way. And he kept getting beat over and over and over and over again. Dwayne Brown, I could see him throwing a fit on the sideline where he threw his helmet. I don't know if that was directed towards Jordan Simmons or the rest of his offensive line. But Dwayne Brown, he's been a rock-solid left tackle all year long. He's been a top 5 offensive lineman all year long. And the rest of the guys have done a great job of holding their own, but I just think that Jordan Simmons was a target. And as I mentioned, he allowed 4 pressures on 5 sacks for the whole team. And so he did a very poor job. And I just think that Buffalo, I mean, despite their defense not being as elite as it once was, they still have a little bit of a pass rush. Jerry Hughes, he was once an elite pass rusher in this league. And they still have a few household names on the defensive line. And so definitely a combination of a whole lot of things. But I think the fact that Jordan Simmons struggled so badly, I think that's kind of what it contributed to all that.
I wanted to back up for a second. You mentioned Squabo about Trey Flowers. Can we got to applaud Trey Flowers? I thought he had an excellent game, and after we've been ripping him all over the place, he actually had a very good game. We got to give him credit where credit is due. Dwayne Brown has been solid all year round. I was very disappointed that he kind of pulled the Cam Newton a hot potato, stay away from the ball when the ball was at his feet. I was hoping he would just jump on that thing, and he kind of just, I don't know, he didn't really go for it in the same way that Cam Newton got so much flack for not jumping on the ball in Super Bowl 50 after they got the ball knocked out of his hand. It was right there by his feet. He just didn't fall on it. But, it's just one of those games. It seemed like everybody had a bad moment, in that game. And, Squab, did you want to add to that as far as the whole discussion about why when we blitz, we just don't seem to get there, and why other teams, when they blitz, they do? Did you have anything to add to that part?
Well, first of all, with Dwayne Brown, the reason he threw his helmet down on the sideline was because he didn't pick up the ball. And that it was immediately after the fumble that he didn't get that he should have got. And that's why he did that. In terms of Jordan Simmons, yes, he had a bad game. But a lot of their pressures were coming off the outside, and that's not Jordan Simmons' responsibility. We were getting beat off the edge instantly after the snap, and we did that at least twice. So while Jordan Simmons did have a bad game, it's our pass protection as a whole that needs to work on our communication. And you would think as a unit in an offseason where social distancing was the practice, and for the unit that's the closest together and has to be in sync, that's going to be the most difficult for them to overcome this deficiency. On the other side of it, our defense on that screenplay, first of all, it was just, we ran like 3 blitzes in a row. Like we were just getting predictable at that point. I want us to blitz a lot, but not every play. And I want us to disguise. That would have been a great play to show blitz and then not, and then we would have been there. But the other way that we could fix that specific instance that I absolutely hate, and this is this is a Madden tip as well. When you're playing defense, your blitzers need to have an option. Like someone has to have the responsibility. Okay, if that running back goes out for a screen, I got him. If he stays back and blocks, I'm blitzing. But you have to stay with that guy. You can put your hands up. If you have an easy sack, go get it. But if you're at a distance still, stay with the running back. And that was the problem there. On these plays, they're escaping out the backfield because nobody's watching them. And I don't understand that. That's one of the problems that we face defensively. Even when we blitz, and we have to do it very often, and we do have to keep getting pressure on the quarterback, just have someone spying on the running back in case they dip out like that so it doesn't turn into a 30-yard game.
So Paul Third in the Super Chat says, Carroll is right. The defense isn't well balanced. You can cover up the lack of D-line pressure early on when the secondary is fresh, but obviously in the second half, those DBs are burnt out, allowing big plays. Well, I suppose. I mean, we are riddled in the secondary. That's obvious. We had Quentin Dunbar definitely was not himself, right? I think everybody saw that. You could tell he was not moving well. He looked like he was in pain. He got beat on several occasions. The worst one that I saw was when they were deep in our end zone, and then I think it was on the touchdown pass. He had the cover on that receiver, and he just crossed his face like a slant route, and he didn't even move. I mean, the receiver had already taken one step, crossed his face, and he was past him before he even moved toward that receiver. Now, I don't know what that was all about, but you have no chance if you don't step up and at least make an attempt to be on the guy on a play like that. And that's an easy touchdown. So I'd like to think that the Dunbar we're just not seeing the best version of him. We're seeing a broken version of him, and that's why he's not having the success. So again, the injury bug has been affecting, not just Shaquille, but Quentin Dunbar, and those were supposed to be our 2 starting cornerbacks. So we got one not even in there, and the other one who's not playing it, 100%. So, I hate to blame the injuries and make that as an excuse, but it's part of it, right? I mean, ask the 49ers, they're out of it this badly at this point in the game because, injuries have completely decimated this. We haven't been as bad as them, but it certainly has been hitting us in the part that we're struggling the most, and that's on the defense. So here's a question. I know we had problems with protecting Wilson, but just like we were vulnerable when we blitzed, if they blitz, somebody's got to be open, right? You're always risking something when you send those extra people, there's someone unaccounted for. And you would think that there should be some quick hot route, somebody who he can quickly dump the ball off to. And especially with all those players, tight end were in great shape. Our receivers were really in great shape. But Wilson couldn't connect to him. I don't really have a good understanding why that logic doesn't make sense to me. Because again, it's like, well, whatever somebody says they're doing to us, why can we not do to them? Because you would think everything's an equal field. You have 11 guys, you rush 6 or 7. You're going to be just as vulnerable as when you rush 6 or 7, yet why is the result so different? Squabo, lay me some Madden theories here or whatever you can. But before you do, I got to go to Taker610 who says, thoughts on the new playoff format, only one gets the first bye. Okay, we'll talk about that. That's some new news that just came into development. But tell me that one. Give me an answer on that question.
Norb, it is hilarious that you brought up the fact that I'm about to drop some Madden knowledge because yesterday, I was watching your live stream, and you beat the Bills, and you did great. And then you played Pittsburgh, and
okay. I switched. To my defense, I started in rookie mode when I started because to be told everybody, I have not touched Madden in 4 years or 3 years, and when I did, I played it once. And then so this is my first time really playing on any kind of regular basis. I did my first couple of games in rookie mode when we destroyed the Vikings, but that was rookie mode. So I played it pro mode, beat the Bills, and then someone challenged me on the comments, hey Norb, you should move it up one to all pro, and I played the Steelers in the Super Bowl, and I was dumb enough to go, okay, so a good plan. Steelers are a little bit higher ranked probably on there too. So I was not playing pro, I was playing all pro, so that was probably a bad move. Seriously outmatched, but that being said, go on, proceed with your argument.
Okay.
Counselor.
So apparently it was a little too difficult for you, I guess. My bad. But hey, look. I've been the one. I want to give you one of these little Madden coaching sessions live on air so you can get helped out.
I'm ready for it.
What I saw in that Pittsburgh game, towards the end of the ball game, it was a 4th down. You needed, 5 yards at the end of that game? You ran this play that I don't think I've ever called for Seattle, and if I have, you got to put one of those hot routes, and that's exactly applicable to Seattle and what Seattle needs to do. You didn't set a hot route that went exactly to the yard to gain or an underneath route. You only had DK down the sideline, and yes, I agree, DK should have caught that ball. But still, you should have had a check down, and it probably would have been wide open. And there are ways that we can fix it in Madden, just like there are ways that we can fix it in real life.
So hold on a second. So, and yes, you're completely right. And yes, as the coach and the player and the controller of the game, says I am Pete Carroll, I am Russell Wilson, I am DK Metcalf, all in one. The problem was I don't know how to do it.
I got you.
They do. Russell's been playing for 10 years. I've been playing for 10 days. And I still don't know what I'm doing. So I'm excusable. I'm excusable to not know how to throw to a check down to a hot route because I don't even know how to make a hot route. Right. They should know. So why don't they do it?
Put me in Russell Wilson's headset. I promise you great things will happen. Russell Wilson, there should be no play. And first of all, in Madden, it's a little bit different because Madden is not as good as disguising, like you said. So whenever there's a blitz, you pretty much know it. Just the safeties always give it away. In real life, it's a little bit more difficult because humans are more likely to come up with something more creative than a CPU would, obviously. But Russell Wilson still has to have a check down on every given play. And we see a lot of those plays where they all out blitz them and we'll try and hit someone, but the route was a little bit it broke a little bit too deep. So what you're looking for, right, you just for the record, for Madden, you press Y and then you press the button of the receiver and then it shows you all your hot route options. And there are ways to get more options too with certain quarterbacks, which is a lot of fun, but I digress. In real life, essentially you want to have a short breaking route like a slant, an out or an in or a drag route, something like that, where when they're manned up, instantly, because it breaks so quickly, the defender is in chase mode, and you want to always do it to your fastest receiver. So regardless of formation, whoever you have that's the fastest on the field, not necessarily a running back, because sometimes the linebackers close in really quickly, but one of those wide receivers, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf on the outside, whichever one is furthest away from everyone and is least likely to have safety help around him, you put him on a slant, you put everyone else on a route away from him, and you let him work. Just get him the ball in the open field and let him dance. That's how you beat a blitz, and Seattle needs to do that more.
Let him dance. DANCE, right? Okay. All right. So making sure I get these notes down. All right. Steezy, do you play Madden as well?
Not anymore. So I used to.
You're retired.
It's been like, yeah, I hung them up a while ago, probably like a year ago. It was the last time I really played.
Why? Too many injuries? Your knee went bad? Couldn't play anymore? How do you stop playing? How do you stop playing?
I don't know. I've always been a 2K guy. But yeah, no,
okay.
that's exactly what it's come down to. I've just been so like just busy. I'm always out and about. I'm always doing this or I'm doing that. And so I left my Xbox over in Lacey or over at my parents' house, and so I don't even have my Xbox over at my current house. And so, there's a PS4 and there's Madden on there that I can play on over at my roommate's place. But I don't know. I never really find myself just sitting down, wanting to hop on Madden anymore. I guess I just kind of lost the desire as well.
Well, I know you're busy, man. Too. You got all these articles and videos and stuff to do. There's not a lot of spare time. I feel that same way too, man. So Lego Fat Man in the super chat felt that I beat him to the punch. He said in the super chat, "CZ is so quiet. Ask him a question." So I was going to redirect, Your Honor. But let's see, where are we going with this? I think that was the thing is, yeah, we were talking about that. Why were they getting home, and why were we not getting home, and why could we not have a solution for that? And I guess what's so weird week to week, and I guess it's not just us. If you look at the whole NFL, right? How many weird games were there on Sunday? The Chiefs almost freaking lost. Who did they play again? They almost lost to Carolina, who's this year a bad team. Also injury problems, but they almost lost to them. If the kicker could have made a 67-yard field goal, which I was so hoping that would happen, because when does even anybody try a 67-yard field goal? And the dude had the leg. It actually traveled far enough. It was just way offline. I would have loved to see that. So that almost happened. And then we saw what happened Sunday night between the Saints and the Buccaneers. I mean, who saw that coming, right? And the Saints, I'm sure after Seattle lost, everybody in the media was going, "Oh, well, we clearly know who the darling is in the NFC. It's Tom Brady and the Buccaneers with that awesome defense and all his weapons on offense." Where did that go, man? So if we're perplexed, I'm sure that the Buccaneers fans are perplexed. Steelers should have lost they won, right? Against the Cowboys, barely?
They did.
They should have lost. They could have lost that game to a team that would have had no business putting up a fight against the Steelers, yet it almost happened. But that said, why is that when we spend all last week talking about how awesome and unstoppable DK Metcalf as a machine? He's a Terminator. He's not human. And all of a sudden, he can't do anything. I mean, he had a game. But wasn't enough to impact and get us a win. He had a great game. Don't get me wrong. He had 7 receptions for 108 yards. So I'm not going to knock his performance, right? I can't knock the performance. But it still felt like, it's just like being able to say in one breath, yeah, Seattle's defense, look, man, we got 7 sacks. But our defense looked terrible, right? So it's weird to put all these things together and make sense out of it. So Steezy, with our offensive weapons, yet we couldn't really, tilt the field with it. How do you explain that?
So, sorry, what's the question exactly?
I don't know. I'm so busy yelling. I forgot what I was asking. No, what? With Russell Wilson and these weapons that when we talked about him after a win like last week, unstoppable. You can't stop DK Metcalf. Why did it seem like we could not be more effective on offense given the weapons that we have in guys like Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf?
That's a really good question. Well, Tyler Lockett, first of all, he didn't have the best of games. He had, 40 yards?
40 yards.
Russell Wilson almost caught him in the end zone, though, on that. I think it was that third down. Or, no, it was on fourth down, was it? He nearly caught it. Another. Oh, that was on third.
It was that, okay. Yeah, the desperation throw that he almost ran under with for a one-handed catch. That would have been great, by the way. But
right. And so with Seattle, we usually specialize in big plays. And not only is it DK that's going off on a regular basis, if it's not Tyler, it's David Moore. If it's not David Moore, it's Will Dissly. Or if it's not Will Dissly, it's Greg Olsen. We have a plethora of options in the passing game. None of those guys stepped up. And the Buffalo Bills, while they haven't been as elite as they have been in years past, the one thing that they have been elite at this season is limiting and preventing the big play. And Seattle thrives on the big play. We're a very explosive play type of offense, and we thrive off of those type of plays. And Buffalo, I just think that they did a tremendous job of limiting big plays. I don't remember too many plays where I was like, wow, look at that pass. And usually we get a few of those every single game. This time around, I thought it was a little bit too little too late. DK started making plays towards the end of the game. He had his touchdown towards the end of the game. Not to say that he didn't have an impact on the game whatsoever, but I just think that it was a lack of help. There weren't any other receiving options that showed up, and Buffalo did a terrific job of limiting the big play.
All right, so we got to shift directions here. We can talk all night about what went wrong against Buffalo, but I will finish it by saying that despite how bad the game went, we were so close. And there was that one play, which I know we all remember, where the Jamal Adams penalty, where we had them stopped and Ryan Neal got the blitz, knocked him out of field goal range, and we would have gotten the ball back down a touchdown. I mean, that script right there would have been perfect for the Seattle type of comeback in that stage of the game. And unfortunately, the penalty happened, and it just sort of messed up the rest of the flow and got us into a two-score deficit and all that, and everything else kind of fell apart afterwards. But regardless, even after a point where it felt like, it's over, Russell Wilson, remember he threw that touchdown we scored in like 20 seconds? He threw that 60-yard bomb to, I think wasn't it David Moore? Just sitting in there in the back of the end zone. And I was like, oh my goodness, wait a second, hold on. So one thing, as much as you have to, you credit Wilson for when he dominates and you feel like, he's so terrible when it's ugly, that dude never gives up. Even when it looks like it's time to throw in the towel, that dude is fighting. You can see him on the sideline. Let's go, we can get this. So you always got to admire the fact that he never quits, and he's always believes that there's a chance to get back in that game, even when it probably is not. to the normal human, he's always thinking there's a chance, and we definitely put up as good a fight as he could. It's just, he's still a human being, and unfortunately, when he's human, and it's dreadfully obvious that he's human, the defense doesn't do enough to allow for those mistakes, and it becomes a really bad one. So, anything else before we switch to the Rams, guys? Anything you want to add that we haven't talked about?
Well, Russell Wilson had 41 attempts passing, and Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf combined only caught 11 balls. That is a horrible sign for Seattle with what we want to do offensively. Tyler Lockett is unstoppable. The reason he dropped that pass in the back of the end zone is because he ain't seen the ball all day. And had he, gotten going before that, I say he brings that catch in, because we've seen crazier things happen. Remember when we started that drive against the Cardinals, we targeted him immediately. He got hot, goes off for 3 touchdowns and a myriad of yards. Like, he goes crazy in that game. We have to get our guys going.
Why didn't we?
And that's what I'm saying. We got out of our game plan early because we fell behind, and we're in situations where we just got to get underneath. Like, this is what I'm saying schematically, we got to do better. You can't tell. I don't know why we didn't do it. I'm saying what we need to do. What we need to do is take these guys, put them on underneath routes, give DK some screens, get him across the middle where he can blow people up, set them set the tone, send a message to the defense about his physicality and his speed. We need just quick dump down routes. When nothing else is working in Madden, you call a drag route because you just got to get something going. And that's what they needed to do on Sunday. 7 catches for DK Metcalf. That's not enough for me. This is a premier wide receiver. I say one day he's going to be the best wide receiver in the NFL. He needs to get a lot more targets than that. Tyler Lockett needs far more than 4. We need both of those guys getting the ball a lot more, and we went away from them too much offensively.
Yeah, Metcalf had it. It's kind of deceiving. He had 7 catches for 108 yards. We got 41 of them on one big pass. Just not enough. Like you said, you look at those numbers by itself, that's pretty good. But we look at how many times he threw the ball, it wasn't good. I mean, he was off. He was definitely not. There were some days when you just tell he's just not on. And even in that bad game against Arizona, he was really on because he was lighting it up with Tyler Lockett. He was dropping dimes, beautiful balls that you couldn't believe could be made. It was just in the end of the game where things started to fall apart. This game, we just was off from the get-go, and we were constantly just coming from behind. So, Steezy, anything else you want to add to this game before we switch to the Rams?
Now I'm ready to just put it behind me and all eyes forward.
Well, and we got to do this. We got to go back to our review of the scores, just to be fair on how we all did and how that all turned out. So we're going to look back, as we always do. We do our score predictions, and here's my little compilation of all the scores that we were so amazingly accurate to. Let's go check it out right here. Let's see, where am I here? Got to get these lined up. All right, here we go. There it is. All right, scores from last week right now.
38-27, Seahawks win, go away.
34, and then Buffalo Bills the contender, 27.
30-24. 27-17.
Seattle, 28. Buffalo Bills, 21. All right. So, yeah, it was, we were a little off. And I hate to say it, though, because that, again, I changed my original prediction for that game. I said we were going to lose 28-21. And if I'd stuck to my original prediction, I would have been right. And what is right is I predicted Seattle would be 6-2 at this stage of the year. And guess what we are? We're 6-2. So now we got to talk about this Rams game. Doesn't get any easier, does it, fellas? Fortunately, the Miami Dolphins has done us a solid this season, beating everybody in the West except for us somehow. That game, I mean, we know what the Rams are, right? We've seen them too many times. We know what their game is all about. So I guess the way I want to start this discussion is, and unfortunately I didn't do my research. I didn't watch this game, and I wish I had because I'd like to know what the formula is. But the Dolphins beat them 28-17. Jared Goff threw the ball 61 times, 35 of 61. That's not good. 8.9 QBR, 2 interceptions, only 1 touchdown. Got sacked a couple times. Cooper Kupp had 11 receptions for 110 yards. He was their leading receiver. What was Miami doing, and what can we take from what Miami's done to defeat 2 of the teams who, have given us difficult challenges? What is the key, I guess, in stopping the Rams? Because we know what they do well. It's that fast, short pass, catch and run, shifting kind of offense. We know about Aaron Donald and that defensive line, and what we have to face in their secondary. So, knowing all that, Miami did it. So what do we need to do? How are we going to beat the Rams? Let's start with you, Steezy.
Well, I think that the way that Miami defeated the Rams, we're not really able to replicate what they did simply because their personnel is a whole lot different. Their defense is actually, I feel like, an elite unit this season. It's been a top 10 unit this season. Their secondary is one of the best in all of football. They have a cornerback named Xavier Howard who's not only locked down, he's also leading the league in interceptions. And so I think that, as you mentioned, Norb, the Rams, they have a plethora of weapons. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, their offense runs through all those guys. And Darrell Henderson was also knocked out of the game with an injury. He didn't return. And so when you turn Jared Goff in that offense one-dimensional, and when you pass rush and you send guys to pressure Jared Goff, that's when he doesn't perform as well. You said it earlier, he had 61 attempts. Well, when has Jared Goff ever thrown for 60 attempts and the Rams have won a football game? Nothing pops up to me. And so, as I mentioned, you make them one-dimensional and you take away the run. Sean McVay, all those years, or the couple of years that they had those successful years, they had Todd Gurley running the football. And so Jared Goff needs something to fall back on. He needs a running game to fall back on. Darrell Henderson should be healthy to play this game. And so he's definitely someone to worry about. But we have one of the best run defenses in all of football. And so I think that if we're able to take away the run game and if we're able to be physical with the receivers, which actually, no, that's not even possible just because we don't have the secondary that they have. And so let me backtrack.
I was going to ask you, how are we going to do it? It's like there's the what you need to do, and there's the what can Seattle actually do,
Right,
and can that work? Because I feel like what you're describing is, like you said, it works for Miami because they have
the personnel.
And this again goes back to that thing, the Ken Norton dilemma. Because if you fire because Ken Norton could probably be thinking the same thing. You're like, let me check out what Steezy has to say. That's what I was planning to do, but damn it, we don't have the personnel to do that. So then what do you do? Is there a point where you just go, we don't have the personnel, so what can you do? Again, we go back to the genie thing. What can you do with this? You get your little ball of marbles, right? Or your little container of all the dice. You throw it on there. Or it's like a card. Here's your hand. Boom. Here's what you got. Oh, man, I got 2 2s, a 3, a 7, and an 8. I got no aces, no kings, no queens. Okay, I'm going to win this hand here. I mean, that's kind of what Ken Norton's got, right? He's got to look and go, this is who I have to work with. I'd love to do this, but this won't work if I ask these guys to do what would work. So how the hell are we going to beat these guys? I guess,
well, let's take a page out of Noah's book. He talked earlier about let's keep blitzing, but when we blitz, let's disguise those blitzes. We know what Jared Goff looks like when he's under pressure, and he just so happens to be one of the worst quarterbacks in all of football under pressure. And so why don't we start blitzing like we did against Buffalo, but start disguising those blitzes? I think that'd be one of the keys to defeating the Rams and to kind of slowing down the offense. They've had some sluggish games this season. I mean, look at the Giants. They struggled against the Giants. They barely beat them 17-9. And so the Giants, they're a pretty bad team, but what they do got going for them is they have a pretty stout and strong run defense. They have a solid and physical defense. And so while we aren't very efficient, while we aren't very good in the secondary, what we can't fall back on is our run defense. And so definitely focus on the ground game and definitely send out a whole lot of pressure, but disguise that pressure.
I'm with you. It feels like disguise. The word is disguise. The Seattle Seahawks have to be in a Halloween costume the entire time. That's the costume. That's the disguise. They can't be what they look like. They've got to look like something else and change into something that could throw them off. And again, if I'm the Rams, just listening to you here and watching the Bills game, why would I even try to have a balanced game when I feel like every offense should just go, I'm going to throw the ball until you can prove to me that you can stop us. I mean, they're pretty good at throwing the ball, right? I mean, they have some good receivers. They got a high up-tempo game. I don't even know if we can get enough pressure fast enough because they get rid of the ball pretty quick most of the time. But again, something's got to work. Squabo, do you have some hope for me here? Again, we're back to that falling down the abyss with no parachute, trying to grab on the edges of the walls or something to stop from falling and hitting splat on the ground. It's just besides, okay, so we already know disguising the blitzes. Is there anything else that Seattle isn't doing that we could do? Or is it just going to get better? Or are we going to do the Brian Abker theory? There's the Abker theory, which is we'll just get better in time. In time. Just be patient, my young Padawan. In time, we will get better. That seems to be Abker's solution for everything. We'll just be better in time. But I don't know if we can wait that long. It's not working. We haven't gotten that much better. So, Squabo.
Hey, I've always been a Leona Lewis fan. I do believe we will get better in time. Look, the thing that we can do to beat the Los Angeles Rams, first of all, just go ahead and call me coach, man, because whenever you got questions, I got answers. Here are some football answers as to how we can beat the Los Angeles Rams. What we saw from the Los Angeles Rams the last time they played against the Miami Dolphins was exactly what would have had to the Seattle Seahawks if we had Jared Goff at quarterback instead of Russell Wilson. And what we see is that at very similar games, Rams were driving on Miami multiple times, but they capped off the drives with turnovers, interceptions, returned for touchdowns. The defense was the story of the game, not because they weren't giving up yards, but because they kept turning the ball over. And that's what we saw Seattle do. The difference is Russell Wilson, that magic you were talking about that keeps us in games somehow when we really shouldn't be in the game, because Russell Wilson throws a 55-yard pass. Jared Goff's not making that throw. That's what the difference was. So what's the strategy to beating the Los Angeles Rams in such a fashion? And the reason that I believe Seattle truly has an opportunity to make this happen is because when turnovers come in Seattle, they come in bunches. When we're struggling, we don't get any. But when they come, we get 3-4 in a ball game. We need to do that this game against the Los Angeles Rams. We know they're going to get yards against our defense. I disagree that we're going to have to defend the run. I do agree with you referencing my point that we need to disguise our defense. And I think we have to focus on the pass first and foremost and getting to the quarterback while still disguising our defense and running zones. We're chasing plays far too much this year defensively. That's one of the things I've seen with Quentin Dunbar. That's one thing that's happened with Bobby Wagner at times. We're behind the play rather than in front of it. That's why we gave up that first touchdown with Trey Flowers, when really that was Trey Flowers' zone he was supposed to be in rather than Quentin Dunbar. Quentin Dunbar was chasing. Trey Flowers was supposed to be there. We need to be in front of these things. We need to run zones. We need to stay disciplined in our assignments and run disguised blitzes where we're dropping guys in zone where they don't expect them to happen. Once we fluster Jared Goff, we punch him in the mouth. We go up 7-0, 14-0. That's how we're going to beat the Los Angeles Rams. We get in these shootouts where he has confidence against our defense. What are they, 3-1 in our last 4 games against them? Like, they have been beating us. Jared Goff tears our defense apart every single year. If it weren't for Paul Allen blowing on the one, they might be 4-0 over the last 4. That's how good Jared Goff has been against our defense. So we got to punch him in the mouth, tell him that this defense is different. You saw how Green Bay, they had the demons against San Francisco, but they punched him in the mouth on Thursday Night Football, and then it turned into a landslide. That's what we have to do to the Los Angeles Rams. Punch him in the mouth, make Jared Goff beat us, and then punch him in the mouth a bunch more.
All right, a lot of disguising and punching in the mouth. So it'd be like a kid in a Halloween costume walking up to you and punching you in the mouth. Trick or treat, mother sucker. All right, so here's what gives me some hope. Here's what gives you some hope. People have been saying, like, oh my God, I saw that in the chat. Someone said, oh, Aaron Donald's going to get 10 sacks in this game. La, la, la. I actually think that Russell Wilson, I think, has a better shot against a strong front four with an Aaron Donald than he does against a team that likes to blitz with 6 or 7 coming hard. You know what I mean? Because he knows that he's there, and he'll know where it's coming from. I feel like where Wilson breaks down is when we don't know where the coverage is coming from, and then there's that unaccounted for guy. I think Wilson can deal with a tackle or a guard who gets beat, as long as like right in his face in like half a second. But if he can kind of feel that pressure, Wilson's smart enough they can move, and he's got enough space to do it. The problem with him is when he's got like 6 guys and they're all coming in on him, that's when it's doomsday. And so I don't know if the Rams are a team that likes to blitz because they don't have to, because they have Aaron Donald. But I do believe that Wilson can do better against that type of defensive rush, as opposed to the blitzing kind that he struggled against with the Cardinals and the Bills. That's my general feeling about Russell, because we've seen him spin out of so many things. And so I feel like he can get away from that. The other part of it, too, is I do think there is truth to the Abker theory about the playing together well. Because when you think about all these guys, we're mixing and matching so many defensive pieces, a lot of it due to injury. I mean, Jamal Adams hasn't played in a month. He gets thrown in there. We've got these new guys on the defensive line. Carlos Dunlap had a sack. I'm not sure how he graded overall, but just to see that, and I don't think he was on that play that he would have pursued and taken Josh Allen out of the game and stopped him. And unfortunately, that LJ Collier did the horse collar tackle and got the penalty. It extended the drive. So he's out there. He's moving. It's nice to see him chasing, going to the sideline and all that. So, but he's only been here for a couple weeks, right? So we have all these different pieces that I think once functioning together, and there is that cohesiveness where everybody kind of knows where everyone's going to be, I think the defense will play better, and even the secondary will get better. Shaquille Griffin, not there. So we got all these guys who've been moved up who haven't been a regular part of the practices, all kind of shifting around. And so there's going to be some, I think, lack of continuity when you have so many pieces having to, step in where so many people have had to, go out for injury or whatever, different reasons. So I feel like the longer these guys do play, they will get better down the stretch. Hopefully over time will not only get better, but will also get healthier. And I keep saying it, reinforcements are coming. Rashad Penny is coming. Chris Carson, it looks like from what I'm reading, I know he's still on the injured lists, but it sounds like Pete Carroll was saying it looks pretty optimistic that Carson, Hyde, and Snacks Harrison will be making his debut in this game. Again, I'm not one to think Snacks Harrison is going to be the savior to this defense, but it's something. It's another body, and they're a big body that it can hopefully just be another spark to helping the rest of the guys, step up in their roles. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you optimistic that those guys will play? And do you think that Snacks Harrison finally getting on that defensive line, do you think that's going to make a difference in this defense? Steezy, let's go to you on that.
He's not going to be the difference, but I think that the impact that he's going to provide will definitely be a lot more than just felt. I feel that he's definitely going to open things up for the guys on the defensive line. Jarran Reed, we haven't seen the 2018 version of Jarran Reed, and so maybe another run stuff in space-eating monster of a defensive tackle like Damien Harrison can help to unlock and bring back the 2018 version, or at least some semblance of the 2018 version of Jarran Reed. But what Poona Ford is definitely going to help us with is with run defense. I mean, we're already amongst the top 5, top 10 in the NFL in terms of run defense, and so he's going to help us to further strengthen the strength.
All right, and how about you, Squabo? What's your if we do get Carson and Hyde back and Snacks in there on the defense, what do you think those three players will add to what we have been missing within their absence?
Snacks, not that much. Carson and Hyde, tremendous amounts. Carson and Hyde are huge to our offense. What did we have? 60 yards on the ground last week? When's the last time we broke 100? Or it's been a couple of weeks, essentially. But our offense is not the same without Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde, not as good as Chris Carson, obviously. But even still, both of them are good players when we have them, and they've been unavailable. It's more likely we see Carson than Hyde, but it'd be great to have both of them back. And those are going to be our biggest two impact players that are injured right now. Snacks Harrison, he might get a tackle or two here or there. He's not going to have a major impact.
I thought we were just talking about Snacks, but if we're also talking about Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde, they're going to be huge for us. I mean, as Noah mentioned, we've been one-dimensional the last couple of weeks. Even in that demolition of the San Francisco 49ers, DJ Dallas ran for 2.8 yards a carry, and so we didn't very, very well on the ground. But with Chris Carson, I think he's a top 10 running back in all of football, and he's having his best year in terms of catching the football as well. And so he's done a great job of diversifying his game and being more of a complete player. Carlos Hyde, I mean, as we all know, he also rushed for 1,000 yards last season, and so he's no scrub at running back. We've been trotting out third and fourth stringers at the running back position, therefore rendering us one-dimensional. With those guys coming back, we're definitely going to be able to run the football again. We're going to thrive more on play action, and guys can't just key in on Russ Wilson and the rest of the playmakers at wide receiver and tight end simply because those running backs can easily run for over 100 yards.
Yeah, we had 57 total yards last week. We made no effort to really try to run the ball. So I agree with you. And it is interesting. Playing Madden isn't just fun and games. You actually learn quite a bit about not only calling an offense, but calling a defense and sort of reading how a certain play matches up against another play, what works in certain situations. So it's been very educational playing this game, I must say. So I highly recommend for those of you who don't. It's pretty cool you actually learn a lot more about the game than I expected to, just because you're put in that position to have to think about these things that normally you're just watching and reacting to somebody else calling those plays. I discovered how much Chris Carson. I already knew Chris Carson was such a huge asset to this team, but having him on my team, man, it's such a huge relief to know when the passing game is struggling, you can count on him to pull out 5, 6, 7 yards of carry and get you to second and short, third and short, instead of looking at third and 10. Third and 10 and greater. It's hard to find plays that work out of that, especially when they know it's coming. All right, we got to do score predictions. Unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about for the Rams game. All right, we know what the work we have cut out in front of us. Let's do the scores. Steezy, start with you.
I'm going to say Seattle 36, LA 30.
All right, another high-scoring game. Squavo, you ready? What's your score prediction?
38-33 Seahawks.
All right. And I always have to reference my music prediction video. In that video, I said we were going to lose the game 27-24. But I'm going to change that, but not in the way that you guys probably would like. I say we're still going to lose this game by a field goal, but the number will be up by 10. So final score, Rams 37, Seahawks 34.
Feels like you just gave like a funeral speech.
Oh, I don't like predicting a loss, man.
Yeah.
I don't. And I'm, in some ways, I'm hoping that this is sort of like a reverse psychology thing. Like, by me predicting... Oh.
It's not going to work.
Oh. Well, that's only if they're... Well, yeah, you're right. I was going to say, if they're not listening, they wouldn't know it. But then, who am I putting the psychology on? I'm putting the psychology on everybody watching this video. See, right now, everyone's pissing me. They're going, Norb, how could you predict against your own team? You're not a real fan. I don't know. Maybe you're not saying that. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. All I know is that I predicted the Bills to win last week. I changed it and said Seahawks would win, and then we lost. So I'm kind of trying to psych my own self out and change the powers that be. That if I respect my original score, maybe they'll say, well, because you honored your original score, we'll change it for you. I don't know. I'm just not feeling good about this.
Save that clip. You are watched. I pray that is what did it. You could be the reason our season turns around, Norb. It's because of you. Okay.
Well, it's on tape. It's on video, so we'll see it happen. Okay, you guys ready? Let's have some fun now. Let's have some trivia. And I want to thank Cameron Hughes for submitting this trivia contest today. And this is a good one, appropriately timed, I must say. So where's my Kahoot screen? There we go. All right, so it is Russell Wilson trivia. Since Russell Wilson, this is the year of the Let Russ Cook, and it's also the blame it on the Russ. Anytime things go bad, he's kind of taking it all. So if we're on that, we're going to dedicate this trivia, this Kahoot, to Russell Wilson himself. So let's get on it. Here's the pin if you guys want to join on your Kahoot app or Kahoot.com. The number is 413-4654. 413-4654. Join in on the fun of the Russell Wilson trivia contest. And there we go. Let's see how many we get this time. What is this name? No, it's racist. Come on, Norb's balls. This is just getting bad. 413-4654. We'll try to get as many as we can. We'll see how we get next time. Last time we had like over 100 people. I couldn't believe it. I don't expect necessarily that many, but we are starting our show kind of late tonight, so some of you probably dropped off, for those of you who are in Germany and places like that. But we do have 36 of you already, 37. We'll go for about another 40 seconds. We got The Unit, Russ Cooking, Norb's Abs, Calvin is Hot, Daddy DK, Nick, Jonah Thanos, Rain City, Something Eat My Something. I'm glad I missed that one. My Mom Eats My Something. It got cut off, thank goodness. DKKKKKKK. Hawks D is greater than Jets. Russ Can Cook. Coop King. Seahawks 13-3. Russ We Trust. Metcalf. These names are Eating My Norb. Hawks for Life 12. Norb Horse. Oh, come on now. Oh, man. I almost said it. That would be a slight exaggeration. I'm not going to say it. Jalen versus DK. Bob the Builder. NorbCam's Pizza. Shmiligod! Hey, Shmiligod's here to play the game and then lose at the end. Just kidding. Love you, Shmiligod. Someday I will meet the Shmiligod and ask where does Shmiligod come from. Anthony Callis. Oh, and by the way, Cameron Hughes, since you made this trivia, you better not be playing in it, all right? That would not be fair. All right, 10 more seconds. We got 77. That's pretty good still. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, Devo, 5, 4. We got 2 Schmilligans. We have Schmilligan and Schmilligan. I don't even know who's the real one. With the real Schmilligan, stand up. 5, Squabbo's balls. 4, 3. You can put anything's balls, and it just sort of works, right? 3, 80. Rams will win. Hawks fan. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, here we go. Russell Wilson trivia, courtesy of Cameron Hughes. Question number 1. What pick was Russ drafted with in the 2012 NFL Draft? 75, 72, 69, or 71? What pick was Russell Wilson drafted in the 2012 Draft? 75, 72nd, 69, or 71st? 75, 72, 69, or 71? Time is up. Oh, yes. I think everybody knows this one. The magical number 75. With the 75th pick, the Seattle Seahawks select Russell Wilson. All right. This is probably pretty easy as well for my panelists here, but let's do it anyway. Steezy.
I had a different magical number in mind. I had 72.
Oh!
So.
Okay. All right. So maybe not so easy. Squabbo. Maybe it wasn't so. Maybe it was easy for me because I just read the answer. Oh yeah, 75. I remember that, but maybe I wouldn't have known. Squabbo.
No, I remembered it. But I've messed up questions like that too, so I'm not even gonna get on you.
Yeah, I would have messed it up for sure. Oh, I have a quick question. I was part of a Zoom call yesterday, and one of the trivia questions by Corky Trewin, the longtime photographer for the Seahawks. He actually did this one for a Kirkland Seahawkers meeting, which I got to be a guest of. And I was disappointed I didn't know this answer because I feel like I probably asked this question. But his question was, who was the first Seahawk to return a kickoff for a touchdown? Do you guys know what that is without Googling it? I said Bobby Joe Edmonds, but I was wrong. So somebody from the early 80s.
Steve Argent?
I think somebody said that. It wasn't that.
Galloway.
Joey Galloway would have been a good guess too, but I think that was not right either. I think he was later. He was not with the Seahawks that early. Somebody said Nate Burleson, but not the first. He did. I remember he had a punt return for a touchdown. I don't know if he ever had a kickoff return for a touchdown. I couldn't think of it. I was like, I should know this. Leon Washington. He's the most prolific kickoff returner with the most touchdowns, but not the first. I don't know. Somebody's going to look it up and cheat, but that's okay. All right, let's continue. I just something to ponder because
the photographer never gave you the answer.
I had to leave, so I didn't get to hear the answer. It was a whole trivia contest. I got the one question, and he kept going out for the answers, and then finally I had to go, and I never got to know, and I didn't Google it, so I wanted to see if you guys knew. So it sounds like it's not as easy a question as you'd think it would be. Anyway, keep thinking on it. Here we go. Scoreboard. All right, we got DK in first place. Look, Schmilly Dog. It's Schmilly Dog in second. Andrew P in third. Noah Boat in fourth. And Seattle Ricky. Oh, it's Ricky in fifth place. That's your buddy, right?
It's not.
That's not him.
Oh, it's not? Oh, okay. All right, next question. Number 2. Who did Russ play in his first preseason start? The Raiders, Broncos, Titans, or the Chiefs? His first preseason start. Raiders, Broncos, Titans, Chiefs. I remember this one very clearly. Raiders, Broncos, Titans, Chiefs. Russell's first preseason start. Time is up. Whoa, actually, I'm surprised you guys missed this one. You guys didn't get this. Only 12 of you guys got this right. The correct answer was the Chiefs. I remember this one because I could have changed the whole direction of the quarterback. Do you guys remember we had Terrell Owens trying out for the team that year? And there was a long pass from, what's the other guy who was a quarterback and we paid him? Matt Flynn threw a should-have-been touchdown pass to T.O., and I remember I can't remember if he overthrew it or if he dropped it, but he didn't make the catch. And I remember thinking, man, if he had caught that ball, would that have cemented Flynn's spot on the team and changed the fates of Russell Wilson and everything forever? But anyway, I remember that game. I was doing a gig in Kirkland, and I remember I was watching the game in between sets. That's how I remember that Chiefs game. Anyway, guys, do you remember this? Steezy. No memory. Preseason, man. Normally preseason is just one of those things you don't normally think about. And I probably wouldn't have thought about it either, except it was just baked in my head because of this event I was at. Okay, so tough one for Steezy as well. Squabble?
To be honest, I was really confident about this because I remember that game. But I thought because you said Flynn was the one that threw that pass, I thought Flynn started that game, and I thought his first start was the Titans game. So I said the Titans. But I guess I'm incorrect.
Oh, it's interesting about the fact that I'm remembering this and mentioning Flynn. What does that mean? Does that mean Russell didn't start? But maybe because he. Actually, I don't remember. I'm going off of his thing here, so maybe either my memory is off, or it was because that was the first game he played in. I'm not sure. But either way, I'm going to give him based on the answer that he has there. So I guess you guys both missed that one, and my memory just seems to be one certain one. So let's see where that goes from here. To score with Schmilly Dog in first, Unit in second, DJ Dallas in third, Mehul in fourth, and Go Hawks in fifth. Next question, number 3. Who was Wilson's first career touchdown caught by? Doug Baldwin, Braylon Edwards, Golden Tate, or Sidney Rice? Who caught Russell Wilson's first ever career touchdown? I know I've asked this before. Baldwin, Braylon Edwards, Golden Tate, or Sidney Rice? First touchdown catch caught by Wilson. Baldwin, Edwards, Tate, or Rice? There we go. 51 of you guys on point there. Sidney Rice. A very favorite target of his that season. Sidney Rice, 51 of you got that correct. Let's go to the panel. Steez.
Well, I got this one wrong before, so, this time around, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen.
All right, Steezy on the board with a point. Squab trying to make it 2. What you got, Squab?
I remember this.
All right. Was it in it was that Cardinal game?
It was at Arizona. He was like reaching. The ball was a little high. And
yeah.
Rice had to go get it, but he got it.
He got it. He was tall, long arms. All right, 2-1. Squabble with the lead. Let's go to the YouTube scoreboard. Oh, big changes. Mehul goes to first. DJ Dallas up to second. Defense Cordme 3. Noah Boat in fourth, and Schmilly Dog drops to fifth. True or false question? Russell Wilson won Rookie of the Year. True or false? Russell Wilson won Rookie of the Year in 2012. True or false? Again, true or false? Russell Wilson won Rookie of the Year. Time's up. And the answer is false. Only one of the many accolades Wilson did not get. Yeah, false. He did not win Rookie of the Year. Let's go to Steez, the Squeeze.
I said false because RG3 won Rookie of the Year that year.
There you go. Squabs?
I'll say false because we beat RG3 that year and he won it.
Yes. All right. Let's go to the scoreboard in YouTube land. DJ Dallas rises up to number 1. Mehul drops to second. Defense Cordme to third. Schmilly Dog to fourth. And Andrew P. onto the board in the top 5 at 5. Next question. Number 5. Wilson's first completion in Super Bowl 48 was caught by who? Zach Miller, Jermaine Kearse, Golden Tate, or Percy Harvin? Who caught Russell Wilson's first completion in Super Bowl 48? Zach Miller, Jermaine Kearse, Golden Tate, or Percy Harvin? Wilson's first Super Bowl 48 completion. Miller, Kearse, Tate, or Harvin? Time's up. Not so obvious, but yes, Jermaine Kearse is the correct answer. I think Percy Harvin got one of the first handoffs. Jermaine Kearse, number 24 of you guys. Most of you got that's correct. Let's go to the panel. Steezy.
I said Jermaine Kearse. Ultimately, I ended up going with him, but I was kind of bouncing around between him and Zach Miller because I remember a question being asked one time about Super Bowl 48, and I remember the answer being Zach Miller, but I came back to my senses, and I was just like, let's not overthink things. Those
are all good choices. I think if I was completely going from scratch, I would have been debating between Kearse or Tate, but that's a good question. Good answer. Squabo?
I said Miller because I remember him having a catch early, but I was wrong.
I don't remember. What's funny is I don't remember that catch, though, the Jermaine Kearse catch.
Right.
And if you could really mess with people if you put Baldwin on there, because Baldwin had some early catches too. I would have put Baldwin in this if I was Cameron. I would have put Baldwin in here as one of the options and really thrown people for a loop. But okay, well, the score is tied 3-3, and let's go to the YouTube scoreboard. DJ Dallas stays in top at number 1. Defense coordinator moves up to second. Schmillidag in third. King Craig moves up to fourth, and Mehul holding down the top five at number 5. Question number 6. What was Russell Wilson's high school football number? 3, 11, 1, or 16? What was Russell Wilson's number in high school? 3, 11, 1, or 16? Again, his number in high school, 3, 11, 1, or 16. Tricky one. Bunch of you guys got that correct, though. It was 11. I would have not known this at all. But did the guys know it? Steezy?
I went with 1. I was down to 11 and 1, and I saw a whole lot of 1s, and so I figured it had to be one of the 1s, and I went with 1.
So didn't get that one. Squabs?
Honestly, of the options, I thought 16 sounded most familiar, but I looked at the photo that you shared, and I remember seeing that photo, and he was wearing number 11, so I said 11.
Ooh, pretty good. I think he wore 16 in college, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, Squabbo takes a 1-point lead, 4-3. Let's go to the scoreboard for the YouTube. And DJ Dallas going strong. Russ slides up to number 2. Defense coordinator holds it at 3rd. Andrew P. to 4th. And Schmillidag in 5th. Next question. Number 7. Oh, double points. Look at this. What was Wilson's rookie Madden rating at the game's launch? 74, 79, 70, or 76? What was Wilson's rookie Madden rating at the game's launch? 74, 79, 70, or 76? This would be a total guess for me. Time is up. That's a guess for a lot of you. 21 of you guys on YouTube got that correct. It was apparently 70. Is that good or bad or okay?
Horrible.
Oh, it is. What's the best? Is it 100?
99.
99. Okay, so 70 is bad. Okay, all right. So Russell Wilson, not highly regarded in Madden land when the game first launched in that 2012 season. So, did you guys have any clue on this? Steezy?
Yeah, I guess 70, because going into his rookie year, he wasn't even slated to start. Matt Flynn was slated to be a starter, and being that he was a 3rd-round pick, I don't think Madden thought very highly of him. And back when I did used to play Madden, that was one thing that I was obsessing about. It was always about Madden ratings. I always cared about who was rated what, and I didn't know this one, but I kind of just deduced it and figured, you know what, yeah, he wasn't the starter at the time, so 70. I went with the lowest. All
right, so Squabble, you're our resident Madden expert here between the 3 of us, but were you an expert back in 2012?
Hey, call me the rookie and a vet. Heck yeah, man. I didn't know this, but like Steezy, I deduced it based on, because decent rookie core, like Dwayne Haskins was like a 77 or something, maybe an 80. And so I knew Russell Wilson really did not get credit, and he wasn't supposed to be the starter. So I did say 70. Okay,
well, very well deduced. All right, let's go to the scoreboard in YouTube. And we got... Whoa, big changes everywhere. Defense coordinator moves up to 1st. Schmillidag in 2nd. King Craig to 3rd. MC Stove to 4th. And Let Russ Cook moves in there at 5th place. And this is a very tight race. Only 400 points separate 1st and 5th position. So it's getting tight, folks. Here we go. Next question, number 8. Also worth double. How many completions did Wilson have versus the Vikings? 20, 25, 28, or 30? That's this year. How many completions did Wilson have versus the Vikings? 20, 25, 28, or 30? Completions against the Vikings. 20, 25, 28, or 30? Oh, 13 only of you guys got that on YouTube. That's 20 completions. Got the job done, but it was an ugly fashion, if you guys recall. It seemed like a long time ago now. I'm going to correct you guys since I did say they were double last time. I'm going to give you double since You guys are still separated by 1 point. Let's go to Steezy. Did you have this one?
Nah, not this one. I went with 25. I know that he barely completed that. I mean, he didn't complete too many passes, and he barely threw for over 200 yards. But I thought 20 was still too low, and so I went out with 20. I mean, 25.
Yeah,
not bad.
It's amazing, and he got a whole chunk of those in that last drive. All right, so Steezy stays at 5. Squabble with a 1-point lead could make this, I guess, with a double point, could go up to 8 and get a 3-point lead. Squabs?
Squab said 25.
Oh, you and Steez were locked in step there with the wrong answer. All right, so no
squeeze.
no change in the scoreboard. All right, let's go to the YouTube scoreboard and see how things change. 2015, 2013, 2016, or 2014? What year did Russell Wilson throw for 21 TDs? 2015, 13, 16, or 14? 21 touchdowns. 15, 13, 16, or 14? The correct answer was 2016. Most of you in YouTube got that one correct, and a very tight spread answers there. 2016. Remember that year. So I guess we're double again here. Squeeze, Steez. Did you get this one? Chance to get to 7?
I did. I just know his stats. I mean, so.
All right, so 7 points takes a temporary lead, but Squabbo can get back in the lead by 1 with a 2-point answer here. Squabbo, what you got?
I too know his stats.
So he jumps back up to 8 to a 1-point lead. 8 to 7. Squabble with a narrow lead by 1. Let's go to YouTube and see how narrow that lead is looking like. Changes. Zach Wilson, 2021, moves up to 1st. Defense Coordme in 2nd. Mahul in 3rd. Hawks for Life, 12 in 4th. And Norbs in 5th. Next question. Here we go. Number 10. Also worth double points. We just have double points everywhere. What's the most interceptions Russ has thrown in a single season? 11, 12, 10, or 9? What's the most interceptions Russ has thrown in a single season? 11, 12, 10, or 9? Again, 11, 12, 10, or 9. Whew, most of you guys, pretty good. YouTube spot on. 11 of you got, or I should say 36 of you said 11. Not bad, not bad. It's pretty good for that being your season high. Steez, you know Russell Wilson's stats well. Do you know his interceptions just as well?
Same answer.
All right, we're double. That gets you to 9 points. Squabs?
Yeah, no, I knew this.
Knew this
He's
as
about
well.
to break it this year, though.
Oh, I hope not.
He's only what? He's got 6 already?
Yeah, 8.
8. Oh my
3
gosh,
away.
that's right. Jeez. At this rate,
We need clean football.
he's going to probably break that record for sure. All right, so Squab still with a 1-point lead. Let's go to the YouTube scoreboard. It's getting tight. Zach Wilson, 2021, still at the top with 9,209 points. Defense Coordme in 2nd. Mahul in 3rd. Hawks for Life in 4th. And NorbCam Nation moves into the top 5 at number 5. Next question. Number 11. Double points everywhere. Here we go. What baseball team drafted Russell Wilson in 2010? The Mariners, the Yankees, the Rangers, or the Rockies? What baseball team drafted Russell Wilson in 2010? Mariners, Yankees, Rangers, or Rockies? 2010 baseball draft. Mariners, Yankees, Rangers, or Rockies? And YouTube is all over it. Yes, the Colorado Rockies. Let's go to Steez in the panel. Steezy.
That one hurt. I said, I guess I remembered incorrectly. I said the Rangers.
Well, I know he made appearances on these other teams because he was with what I don't know if you call it, but what was that thing they called it? There was a certain code to it, a something number clause that you could put a player on there. They did that. He did that with the Rangers, and he did that with the Yankees later. Remember there was a number for that? They had a term, but he wasn't drafted by them. So technically he was on the Rangers team. So you were thrown off by that. So Steve's stuck at 9. Squabs with the chance to take an insurmountable lead. But does he do it?
actually remembered I used to have like these Russell Wilson cards, and I remember seeing his picture in the Rockies jersey, and that fun fact trivia was on the back. So maybe Cameron has the same Sports Illustrated Russell Wilson card and just stole that trivia because I knew the answer was the Rockies.
Okay, all right. Well, that gives you 12 points to Steezy's 9. A crucial, tricky question there. But that may have done it in. That might have been the dagger, the nail in the coffin, so to speak. Let's see what happens here with YouTube. Getting down the stretch to the last question. Here we go. Oh, changes again. Defense coordinator moves up to first. Mehul to second. NorbCam Nation in third. Zach Wilson drops to fourth. And King Craig in fifth place. Defense coordinator at the top with 99.80. And King Craig at the bottom with 88.90. So it's not that big of a margin, but we'll see what happens in this final double point question. Here we go. For all the marbles, double jeopardy. What is the most yards Russ has thrown in a season? 4,219, 4,110, 4,024, or 3,976? Most yards Russ has thrown in one season. 4,219, 4,110, 4,024, or 3,976? That's a lot of numbers. Oh, look at that. Oh, YouTube went with the high, and they got it. 4,219 yards. 33 of you guys got this correct. Steez?
So I got it correct, but I thought I heard something else, like 4,249. But I too went with the high.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a good thing you still got the right answer there. So that puts you with 11, which is a very respectable final score. But Squabo will have the win here, being that he's already at 12. A chance to go to 14. Squabs?
I appreciate you, Steezy, not demanding a recount, because I got this one right as well. I too, though, heard 42.49, but I still picked it. Because I remember at least one year he beat 41, and that's what I said.
Oh, okay. Huh. Maybe I read it wrong. Maybe I need glasses. I'm not sure. But either way, you guys both misheard it correctly, and the result was still the same. So the winner in the panel scoreboard is Squabo with 14 and Steezy with 11. The baseball trivia question messed him up. Oh, that baseball thing. All right, so congratulations, Squabo, for the win. But now let's go to the YouTube scoreboard and let's see who made it onto the podium right now. In third place, with 8 out of 12, is King Craig at 10,560 points. In second, 9 out of 12, is NorbCam Nation with 11,446. And in first place, with 9 out of 12, 11,572 points, is, it's Mehul! Mehul with Zach Wilson and defense something in the runners-up. So congratulations, Mehul. I don't know. I hope this isn't Rohan again. Rohan always has some ways of showing up in these things. But congratulations, Mehul. Take a picture of that winning screenshot. Send it to me at my email right down there at norb@norbcam.com. And we'll get you up on the future fan panel. So congratulations, Mehul, as well as second place NorbCam Nation and King Craig. All right, good stuff right there. And let's wrap this show up. Whew. All right. Well, it was just the three of us, guys, but we made it through. We made it through the rehash of that Buffalo Bills game. We made it through talking about what's going to happen against the Rams. We made it through talking about what it must feel like to be a defensive coordinator who has a plan and realizes, oh, crap, that's not going to work because my people can't do that. But somehow our team is going to disguise their blitzes this week. And what was the other solution? Disguise and punch him in the mouth. That was it. The Squabo's Halloween theory to the Seahawks winning. You got to disguise and punch him in the mouth. So that's really what it comes down to it. And then Russ has got to cook and not turn the ball over. That would kind of help as well. All right, so let's let these guys have a chance to promote what they got going on. So, Steezy, talk about your channel and what you got going this week.
Yes, sir. As always, I want to make sure the viewers show you guys some love before they, show me any sort of love whatsoever. If you guys haven't already, be sure to subscribe to Norb, subscribe to Noah, my brothers right here. If you haven't already, be sure to smash that like button. Be sure to please hit that subscribe button. It's free for all of us. And be sure to show Noah some love. If you haven't already checked out his latest video, it's real high right now. Everything wrong with the Seahawks, I just watched it, and I was impressed. He listed a whole bunch of great points, and I really enjoyed watching it. And so if you guys can help him run that up. And last but not least, be sure to find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Steezy A Smith, SteezyASmith. I actually just dropped a video just now. It's my third episode of my fantasy football segment. And so after the stream, if you guys could, be sure to check that out. If you play fantasy football, that's for you guys. So that's it for me.
All right, I see Nick LeBeau in the super chats, or not super chat, but in the chat says, and I'm going to watch Steezy A. Smith sleepers. By the way, your tips got me to 4-2 in my other league. So you're doing some good stuff there, man. You're putting your money where your mouth is, man. Good work there. All right, so Squabo, tell everybody what you got going on. Yes, I watched your video as well. It's very compelling. I do hear it's really been getting some traction. Glad you got that out there fast, so viewers have a chance to really soak this thing in and hear what you have to say, because I think you had a lot of great points. You made a lot of them here, but you're getting into more detail on your own video in a very entertaining way. So go tell everybody about that and what else you got going on.
I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, I watched the entire game, obviously, and then I watched over the highlights a couple of times, and there was a lot of stuff that we did wrong. Like, it's an entire page full of notes just of things we did wrong in the game, and just going point to point. And then, like, when filming, I came up with more. So if you would please go check that out, I'd greatly appreciate it. But before you do that, it is someone's birthday in less than a month, and he is less than 50 subscribers from 1,000, which is the biggest milestone potentially in a YouTuber's career, the first 1K. Get him to it. His birthday is right around the corner. He is right there. Literally, like, a fourth of the people watching can go do that. So just go show him some love. Go subscribe.
Did you say less than 50 from 1,000? Oh, yeah, you're at 958. You only need 42 subs. So go hit it. I've already subbed you up, so I can't add any more sub to you. But for everybody else, make sure you sub up Steezy A. Smith, and of course sub up Squabos as well. You got to give both these guys some love. And Squab, you were telling me a story while we were waiting for YouTube to get back live again. You were telling me that story. Would you share that story that you had about with the experience in your classroom, about your connection with a classmate and this show?
Oh. Yeah, sure. So shout out to whoever this, I forgot the name. It was like Turlan or something, Turlan, I think. But as many of you guys know, I'm a Wazoo student. In one of my classes, I have to post twice per week a question and a response. And someone responded to one of my questions. And typically, I don't go back and read these just because, like, once you're done with the week, you don't really care. But I went back and I looked at one of them from, like, last week. And if you're watching, shout out to you. Someone in my class was watching and mentioned, was like, wait, are you the guy that's on NorbCam's weekly roundtable? And I didn't respond, but I liked it and I saw it. So thank you for watching and appreciate the support.
That's pretty wild, man. That's really, I love hearing stories like that. And what's wild is the fact that he recognized you in a day and age right now where you're not even in the classroom together, right? You're doing this all virtually where you really don't have any face-to-face interaction. So the ability to even recognize someone's face is hard to have because you don't really have any face-to-face time. So this was, he only had your name to go off of, just your name, and he was able to figure out. And you're the guy formerly known as Noah Boelter. So the fact that he recognized you from your old identity, it makes it even that much more powerful. Even though it's right there, it's right there, Noah Boelter at DJ Squabo. But anyway, it's still pretty cool. So whoever you are, thanks for watching the show, and it's really cool that you guys had that little moment of connection. That's a Seahawk connection that brings us all together. Real quick, somebody asked. Lucas Wardley in the chat said DK Metcalf's stat prediction versus Ramsey. This is an interesting thing. Maybe we should do this as additional things in future shows, but maybe for some of our peak high, obviously, fantasy style things, maybe just for this case, DK Metcalf. Maybe let's just throw a number out there. Numbers of touchdowns and touchdowns, catches, yards. You guys want to do a quick bold prediction on that for this game?
He's at 969 already, guys. Keep blowing him up. He already gained 11 subscribers.
Oh, just now in like 2 minutes?
Just like that, bro. Keep subscribing to him.
He's 970.
Wow. Keep subscribing.
Keep hitting it up. What about Noah? What about Squabo?
Bro, don't worry about. We're getting steezy right now, bro. Get steezy.
Hey, while we're at it,
literally 30 away.
yeah, keep it rolling. And
49,
also, while that's climbing, we're just let that thing simmer for a little bit. This is a day early, but in some places, parts of the world, this already happened. But Tyler Parcher, who's a regular of the show, is a good friend of mine. We're always in communication. It is his birthday tomorrow, so it's early. But since we're already on the round table, got you guys all watching, I just got to do a happy birthday to him. And he always tells me every year, he does not like to be sung happy birthday to. It's just a thing. He likes the happy birthday shout out, does not want the song. I don't know if he's got a problem with the tune and just doesn't like the way it sounds, but he just doesn't want the singing. So he doesn't want me to go, happy. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to say happy birthday, Tyler Parcher. Thanks for being such a loyal fan all these years of my channel and hopefully with these guys as well. So happy birthday one day early. Tyler Parcher.
Happy birthday, bro. We got to play GTA or something.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. Happy birthday, Tyler.
That's right. All right. So, did you want to do that? Do you want to do a quick, just on DK? A just raw prediction of what he's going to get. Catches, yards, and touchdowns.
241 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Against Jalen Ramsey?
I say he punches Jalen in the mouth this year.
Ooh.
Okay.
I mean, he did burn the defensive player of the year, Stephon Gilmore. I wouldn't put it past him.
All right. Well, then what do you say, Steve?
I'm going to go 5 catches. I don't think he catches the ball as much, but I think that's going to produce in about 180 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Jeez.
5 catches for 100.
What, you got like 2 60-yard bombs or something? Holy cow. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I'm going to find something a little more lukewarm, something more in the middle there. I'm going to say 10 catches, 150 yards. Just a nice, comfortable...
13 catches or 14 catches.
You're saying 13 or 14?
Yeah. 13, okay. 13. I'll say 13.
13, but like 200-something yards.
241.
Oh, and I'm saying 2 touchdowns.
Yep. 2
touchdowns for you, 2 touchdowns for me. And did you say touchdowns, Steve?
Actually, yeah, so 6 catches, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Okay, 6 catches, 180 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Steve's at 979. Come on, guys.
Oh my God.
Keep feeding.
But that's crazy. Thank you guys so much. Might as well get over 500 now while you guys are at it.
You know what this is like? This is like a Jerry Lewis telethon. You guys are probably too young to even know what I'm talking about. Back in the day, they used to have these things where they'd do fundraisers, and Jerry Lewis, he used to go on these shows, and they'd have the TV show Live's a live show, and Jerry Lewis would be on there. They'd have guest stars and comedians and performers, but they have these bank of people who are probably just actors and guests, but they have this whole bank of telephones, people on the lines, and there's like the Jerry Lewis tells, oh come on, we just need to get to our goal of $10,000, so we need you to put your order in today. The operators are behind me, standing by, and they're all like, hello, and so they say have the updated ticker. Okay, we're up to 9,000. Let's get to 10,000, and we raise money for the kids with muscular dystrophy and all that stuff. So I feel like this is the Jerry Lewis telethon where we're trying to get Steezy up to the 10,000, the 1,000 sub mark.
Bro, it's his birthday, man. Do it
981. 981. Wow, so we started what? You were at 960?
No, I was at 955 or 958.
Well, we got you like 26, almost 26.
981, 19 away. Great.
19 in just a matter of like 2 minutes. We just need to have a subscriber fest. We'll do there'll be the NorbCam subscriber telethon round table where all we do is sit here and go, come on guys, let's get like you said what are you at now? 500, 400 something, whatever you're at.
I'm at 496.
Let's get you over. Let's go, man. Let's go. We're not gonna stop streaming until you hit that mark. Watch around midnight. Come on, guys.
And then we stop.
Subbing up already.
Still just game when they're at 3K online.
You're at 498. We could get you to 500 and get Steez to 1,000 in one show. Come on, man. It's only 2. Bro,
Steez at 984.
499.
Oh
499. We need one more for Squabo. Go to Squabo's YouTube channel, DJ Squabo. Get him to 500. Let's go. Wait, now it's 498. Somebody just left. I said, I'm not gonna subscribe to that guy. I don't like his hair. Unsubscribe.
You're like, screw this pig.
If he does this, hey, 504, you did it. Congratulations! Squabs is over the 500 mark. 504 subs.
Go.
There we go. 504.
Now let's lock in with Steve.
Now, squeeze the Steez. Where's he at now?
Hey, tell a friend.
987. I need to put this on screen so I can show it. That's what I need to do. I need to do it on screen. Let me modify my screen here.
You guys are the best.
That really means a lot. So much. So much.
All right, here we go.
We love you guys. So people still watching?
They must be. There's a couple people still watching. All right, let's pull up this. There we go. All right, there it is. You can see it right there in its all its glory.
Get on there.
Steve Smith, CZA Smith, 987 right there. Let me blow this up a little bit so it's a little bit bigger. Come on, man. Wouldn't that be cool if we can get this thing? 987. Let's see if we can get you to 13 more, man. 988. Let's go. We need 12. I know that it says there's 132. Look, they got the sirens. They're already preparing the big fanfare for them. 132 viewers out there. I can't believe that all 133 of you are already subscribed to him. So if only, this is how they do it at the telethons. You say, well, it's only one. If all of you out there only donated $1, we would have $10,000 right now. So we have 135 viewers. And I know that at least more than half of you are not subscribed. So if only like 5% of you guys subbed up Steez, we'd get him to 1,000 right here tonight. 992! 992! We need 8 people. Let's go.
8 away. Come on, bro.
Just do the trifecta. Go to Steez. Go to DJ Squabo, and then of course
hit your mama, your papa.
And then, of course, do me one as well. Hit me up on NorbCam if you haven't already. 995.
Yeah,
996. We're gonna break it right here. Come on, do it. Come on, YouTube. Let's go.
Go sub.
Come on, man.
999.
What? No way.
Wait, really? I don't see 999. 997 on my screen. 1K, he did it! 1K! There it is! 1K right there! Congratulations, Steezy!
Wow.
You did it, man.
Real quick, I want to shout out, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Aiden or Adon. Thank you so much. He was one of the people that subscribed to all of us. And so this is for you. You know, shout out Adon, however you say your name. I'm sorry, but thank you guys so much. Now let's get Norb to 600. Let's go Norb to 45K. Let's get into 50K. Let's keep going, y'all. Thank you. Wow. All
right. This is fun, man. I'm telling you, we should just do a show. It's all about the get us up in the sub count show. And we'll just keep flashing the screen until it finally hits there. We'll go for 24 hours if we have to. No. All right. Well, that's awesome.
Norman, though, thank you guys so much. I mean, you guys were the ones, kind of rallying the crowd, and thank you guys. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten there without you guys.
That was fun.
Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
It was like 40. That's like 40 subscribers or something like that in like a matter of 10 minutes. That was awesome. All right. Well, that was great. Well, there we go. We hit milestones right there.
Wow, oh my gosh.
No. Hold up. Steezy, first of all, you earned that damn straight. You earned that.
That's right.
So shout out to you for all your hard work, your networking, and all that stuff. Can we also have a toast for the man that made this all possible, Mr. Norb? Our channels would not be half of what they are right now if it weren't for Norb.
Exactly.
And just putting it on, like, people in my class hitting me up talking about they see me on Norb. What? That's the type of reach this man has. Get him up to 50K. He's already one of the biggest sports YouTubers out there. Keep growing his channel. He's definitely deserved it. Look at what this man just did for this man's birthday. Like, that's so special. Where's Cal? Steezy's up there. Look what he did for his birthday up there, man. You're both tremendous men. It's an honor to meet both of you and to get to know you both. Steezy, you 100% earned it. And Norb, you're just incredible.
Hey, man. I love collaborating with you guys. It's been a mutually, fantastic situation getting to know you guys, working together. You guys are now writing articles for the Fan to Fan Network along with your videos. I mean, it's all because we love this stuff. We love everything about sports and, of course, the Seahawks. And we love doing it for you guys, all the fans out here. I know that there's so many people who are watching me here who watch you guys, too, so it's kind of like thing, and they get a little something when they watch me. They get a little something when they watch you guys on your channels. We all have our unique styles. You hit that like button. So everybody, you guys all do things differently, but I think that's what's great about it is they kind of get different flavors, and it's fun that we can come together in a show like this and just all, share our thoughts and opinions and crazy ideas about this football team. So, all right. Well, on that great note.
Hold on. Real quick. Hold on.
There's more.
Yeah, I just saw a notification. We have a fan page.
I just saw that too. I just saw that.
We got to shout them out. Go follow the fan page. Hold on. Let me get the proper.
There's a fan page.
Noah.steezy.norb.martin on Instagram.
Cool. All right. What did I see that? Was that just posted? Is that just posted?
1K.
Okay, I'll go check it out. That's hilarious. All right, we'll definitely go see that. Fantastic. All right. Well, that is it. Well, we not only got to talk about all this stuff, but we got to witness some milestones being made live on YouTube. We finally got Squabo to 500, and we got